Am I the asshole for forcing my in-laws to use a toilet instead of piss jugs in my home? My in-laws are visiting my wife and I this week. The trip was short notice, so they'll be staying at our home. Our guest bedroom that they'll be staying in is in the basement of our house. It's spacious, clean and dry. The only issue is that it does not have a bathroom associated with it. You have to walk up the basement stairs and halfway across the house to get to our guest bathroom. Before arriving, my in-laws were complaining that it was too far of walk to get to the bathroom from the basement. We are offering them free lodging, so I figured they would just have to deal with it. However, yesterday we got an unexpected Amazon package. My wife opened it and pulled out a strange plastic container. I joked that it looked like one of those medical device piss jugs. The joke was on me, because it was exactly that. My in-laws had ordered a device for them to urinate into instead of going to the bathroom upstairs. I told my wife absolutely not and that they had to use a toilet. My in-laws are very healthy and able-bodied people and there is zero reason, other than laziness, for them to use a device like this. My in-laws arrived later yesterday night and we confronted them about their plan to piss in the jug. They joked about the device and asked what else they were supposed to do, use a litter box. No, go upstairs and use the goddamn toilet. Now they are complaining about having to go all the way upstairs and I'm pretty sure they are secretly using the piss jug. I'm going to flip I find out they're using it down there. Am I the asshole for asking them to use a toilet like a normal human being? Edit. Since a lot of people are asking, no, they do not have health issues, they are very fit and healthy. We have an open enough relationship that they would tell us if they did. We also offered for them to stay upstairs, but the rooms upstairs are more cramped and not as spacious. They opted to stay in the basement room. Not the asshole. This isn't even a discussion. They can use a toilet or get out of your house. Spoiler alert. If they have it in the basement, they are using it. Not the asshole. It sounds like they'd be better suited to stay in a hotel. And to up the cringe factor, there's no sink in the basement, so they aren't washing their hands after using the jug. You should have hidden the jug and told them they can have it when they check out. As a 54-year-old woman with, thankfully mild, interstitial cystitis, this bathroom situation would not work for me at all. But I would not use a jar. I'd have to be damn desperate. I'd reserve and pay for a hotel room. When we do VRBO houses with friends, I book it just to make sure we have our own en-suite bathroom. I get why they do not want to walk that far. But still, you are definitely not the asshole. They can get a hotel room. Okay, I have only one possible thing to say that might be in their defense. Sometimes older people have weak bladders and have to go to the bathroom many times at night. Every couple of hours is possible. Therefore, it is difficult to get sleep if you have to fully waken in order to get to a bathroom. Up the stairs and halfway across the house is a really long way to go if you have a weak bladder. If you don't wake up soon enough, it might even be difficult to get to the bathroom without an accident. Healthy people can have weak bladders. Would you rather they use the piss jug or risk an accident? Am I the asshole for being angry that I'm being forced to pay $400 for hair and makeup as a bridesmaid? I recently moved to NC for my spouse who is military. I left my job in January, went back to grad school, and started waitressing to make ends meet. My best friend is getting married, and I'm one of her bridesmaids. I love her, but the costs are getting overwhelming. She picked a makeup artist that charges nearly $400 for hair and makeup, and required all of us to use her in order for the artist to travel to the wedding. On top of that, I've already spent $400 for flights and Airbnb for her bachelorette in New York. $129 for the dress. $100 tailoring. $600 more flights and hotel for the wedding itself. Plus the wedding gift I still need to buy. When she first sent us the costs back in December, I privately told her I was struggling financially and would be doing my hair, makeup myself. She said she understood and might reconsider a different artist if more bridesmaids mentioned it. Other bridesmaids, including the Mo, did complain, but she ultimately decided to stick with this expensive artist and expects us to pay. Now things are worse because my dog had an accident requiring surgery and physical therapy, which we paid out of pocket. My budget is tight, but I feel stuck, like I'm being forced into an awkward position where saying no would make me look like a bad friend. Am I the asshole for being angry about this? Edit. For clarification, I declined hair and makeup and said I would do it myself. The artist had a minimum bridesmaid requirement in order to travel, and at the time, enough bridesmaids agreed to pay, so it didn't matter that I opted out. Later, however, several bridesmaids backed out of the cost, and we raised concerns about the artist's pricing. The bride had said she would look into alternatives if that happened, but instead, she put down a deposit and required all of us to reimburse her. I never agreed to this. I made it clear months ago that I was doing my own hair and makeup. The bride also knew about my financial situation, moving, leaving work, tight budget, before asking me to be a bridesmaid. I did save money for wedding-related expenses, but I was not expecting this added cost. And no, $400 is not a normal rate for a makeup artist. My past experience has been closer to $90, $100, or I've had the option to do it myself. I bet the bride is getting her hair and makeup done for free if she makes everyone else use the same person. If the bride requires it, the bride should be covering it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. When did it start that brides don't pay for their bridesmaids anymore? It is horrendous. Not the asshole. My opinion is that if hair and makeup are required, the bride should pay, and it definitely shouldn't cost this much. I was in a wedding last year and hair and makeup were optional, but I decided to get mine done since it was a special day. It was about half that much, including tip. Not the asshole, and have an honest conversation with her. Tell her how you've been feeling about everything so far, what happened to your dog, and that you do not want to pay $400 for hair and makeup. If she won't listen, then drop out. A real friend would understand and either let you do your own hair and makeup up or offer to pay for it. A fake friend would demand you suck up the cost. You are the asshole to yourself if you do this. She's certainly not concerned about being a bad friend. Why should you worry about that? She's not forcing you to do anything, good or bad, it's your choice here. Am I the asshole for laughing and being relieved about the reason my son's been getting into trouble? My youngest Danny is 14 and 7th and 8th grade was really hard on him. Me and his dad getting divorced, him coming out to us and some of our family being virulently homophobic. He had to quit wrestling and go on a psych hold for a while and being diagnosed as bulimic and bipolar. The last 2 years were a lot for him. Only a month in and all of a sudden he's getting into trouble. He's coming home late and skipping classes. He didn't show up for the last 2 football practices even though he begged us to let him play, and I've smelled weed and alcohol on his clothes sometimes when he comes home. I've been really scared lately that he's going off the deep end again, and we haven't wanted to push him. Thursday I got a call from my sister at the office that he skipped school with Darren, some delinquent that he's been hanging out with. I'd had enough, so both me and his dad stayed up and waited outside till he got home late again. At around 12 a.m. he comes rolling in on the back of some older kid's motorcycle. I was beyond pissed. He jumped off at the driveway so he didn't meet his new friend, Darren, who rode up quickly. We gave him a good talking to about how he's been acting and how stupid he was to be mixing his meds with alcohol. We of course asked about motorcycle boy, and he told us Darren's 16 and a cool guy, blushing hard, and he was trying to impress him. I told him he was grounded and that he didn't need to change himself to impress some boy. After he went in the house I felt really relieved and I just started laughing. I was so worried, and he was just trying to impress some stupid older boy. I made a joke about how he was just like me at that age, trying to date every older bad boy. My ex of course wasn't as amused and thinks I should be taking it more seriously. I told him that Danny is just doing normal kid stuff this time, but he's still upset that I'm so relieved. Am I the asshole here? You are the asshole, hun. He's fucking 14 and he's out drinking and doing drugs. In no way is this shit normal. You are the asshole. You do realize he's getting in trouble because he's trying to impress an older kid. An older kid who clearly knows what he's doing and is manipulating your son into doing the same things he's doing so that your son will think you'll like him. This isn't a good thing either way. Your son is acting out because he wants the older boy to notice him, and the older kid knows that and doesn't care that your son is getting into trouble. All of that mixed with him being bipolar could not end well if said older boy rejects him one day or something else. Get your head on straight and don't be so relieved it's just cause he's trying to impress an older boy. If the genders were reversed, your daughter, older boy, would you be as blasé about this? I'm looking for the part where you should be relieved. I'm not seeing it. I've been really scared lately that he's going off the deep end again. Yeah, none of that has actually changed. The actual change is that it seems like someone is now actively pulling him off the deep end, and somehow you think this is a sign that all is well? Huh? I'm not sure you're an asshole for the reaction, but your reaction is very strange and confusing. You're sweeping everything under the rug because your interpretation is that he's just trying to impress a boy and you relate to that. In actuality, you've jumped that conclusion without any evidence and you're just assuming you're correct. I mean, you haven't even talked with your son about it yet, but you're already confident that you know everything that's going on and why. You took it serious in front of him. You punished him. I think you handled it wonderfully. Because let's be real, life is hard enough and he is just like his mama, and that's what your ex is mad about, that he isn't like him. You're definitely not the asshole. And your ex sounds a little butthurt. He will get over it. You're relieved because you thought, given his history, that he was doing something worse. That doesn't mean this is not bad. Impressing an older boy isn't bad. Drinking and smoking weed at 14, however, is bad. Am I the asshole for leaving work an hour and a half late and not informing my husband? A couple days ago I left work an hour and a half late. Due to the nature of my work, I am not able to have my cell phone on me and I am not able to leave without someone replacing me. My replacement was late due to a personal emergency, so I was not able to let him know I'd be late. Once I was able to use my phone, I let him know what happened, apologized, and told him I'd be home soon. When I was finally home, he was being short with me for the rest of the night. After the kids went to bed, I told him he needs to talk. I knew it was about me getting home late, and I apologized again and told him I would have warned him if I was able to. He told me I should have left at my scheduled time no matter what. He had plans with people and had to miss them because I was late and he was home with the kids. He said it's also not the first time, which is true, it's happened a few times over the last couple years, but never this long. He said in the future, I need to leave on time or text him and ask if I am able to stay late. Am I the asshole for leaving work and not warning my husband? ETA. Someone said I should add this and it's come up a lot. I work in a sterile environment. It takes 45-60 minutes to get prepped to go inside. We also cannot have cell phones due to contamination concerns. We do not have tablets, landlines, or computer either. Communication to the non-sterile environment happens through a walkie-talkie. I cannot quickly leave to send a text. It will take 45-60 minutes for me to leave, send the text, go back in. I'd have to change into a new pair of scrubs and go through the process of washing and gowning up again, and that takes a very long time. Longer if there is someone in front of me. It's one person at a time. With my job, if I am not there, work stops. I monitor to ensure everything stays sterile. If I am not there, they cannot continue to the next step. I can only leave if I have backup and that day I did not or it's a true emergency. If I leave to send a text, I will be reprimanded and maybe fired eventually. He also recently had to change his phone number and I haven't memorized it. I now realize his old number is my emergency contact, so I will update that and this won't be an issue in the future. No assholes here except your boss. Your replacement is allowed to have a family emergency. You should be able to stay. Your husband should be able to get a heads up and be allowed to discuss with you whether this would impact plans. However, when your boss, work won't give you any options to have that discussion, that's a problem. I already know what kind of job you have. Scrub in, scrub out sterile site, yeah? Not the asshole because I'm certain your husband knows you have no way to contact him, and he's being mad and petty. His feelings aren't invalid, I'd be upset too. But sometimes life just does that and he needs to stop holding a grudge about circumstances out of your control. That said, you should talk to your work about creating a policy where, in similar circumstances, a supervisor or colleague contacts employees' spouses when they are stuck for longer than 15 to 30 minutes. Info. If you aren't allowed your phone on you, what happens if there is an emergency either at work or at home? How can you contact people? Because I have to admit, an hour and a half late is a little concerning and I would be started to get a little worried if my husband was an hour and a half late with no contact. How does your workplace arrange that? There's no way of conveying an emergency? That seems odd, especially if you have a family. An hour and a half is a significant amount of time for someone to be worried about you. It seems to be missing something. So, your husband wants you to risk losing your job, without having a plausible reason to tell the next company you're going to have to apply for a job while you lost your last job just so he can go play with his friends and not have to be a parent to his children. Is this real? Does this mentality actually exist in a male? That his immediate pleasure is more important than the stability of his future life? Not the asshole. JFC. Do you people have a comprehension problem? It takes 45 to 60 minutes to go through the cleansing to leave and come back. No cell phones, landlines or computers in there to use. She is not the asshole but her husband is a whiny baby. Things happen. Part of her job and he knows it.